is Thursday, November 14th. This is the board meeting of the Council on Aging. As we always do, I'd like to go around and just introduce ourselves. And we're being taped, just so you know. I'm Pete Miller, I'm the chairman of the board. On my left here.
I'm Janice Desmond, I'm co-chair of the board. Claude Wilstein, new member.
Lucille Sorrentino, board member.
Joan Powers, liaison for South Shore Elder Services.
Janice LeBlanc, board member.
Elaine Shambari, liaison for FOSS, Friends of Situate Seniors.
Leslie James, board member.
Susan Dravich Kelly, new member.
Kathy Clarkson, transportation coordinator.
Welcome, everyone, and ladies, certainly our newcomers. Welcome. We'll give you a test a little later on. So, why don't we just jump in? Our normal process, well, and you may be looking at an agenda for the first time, Maud and Susan, but we do a brief review of last month's minutes, which should be in your stapled documents here. So if you'd like to, everyone would like to take a look at our minutes to confirm and or offer any edits, we will do that right now. In a minute, yeah, well, by all means, yeah, if there's a correction, we'd like to get, just give us a chance to really take a look and see if anybody else has got any comments. Minutes from a previous meeting seem like a long time ago. Anyone have any comments, edits, additions?
I just noticed the typo, only because I happen to be done working on a project with Linda, but it says, it's like the fourth bullet down, it says the first coastal contact email went out, it's really constant contact.
Right?
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called constant contact. It's,
It's an email program.
Yep.
it's an, it's an email blast
Yep.
concept. It would be nice if there was one called coastal.
Anybody else have any comments? Changes there? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from October of the 10th, 2019?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Very good, thank you. So before I jump here, Leslie, are you taking secretary?
Yeah,
Just checking.
Only we've realized I don't have any way to type the minutes. I don't have Word, I don't have, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
But I'm looking for someone else to alternate with.
This would be as a secretary for this board,
Yes.
correct?
That's in the agenda.
So obviously, as Linda is not here, she, I believe, is on vacation in someplace warm, although I'm not that sure. Florida? Okay, so it's
I
someplace
hope
warm.
it's warm.
Yeah. So I'm going to report out on her director's report, and I haven't necessarily seen this until right now. But I will try to report out on this, and if anyone has any questions or comments on the director's report, please let me know. Linda's been working on a committee to hire a new executive director of the GATRA, and it sounds like it's still ongoing. So interviews are continuing this week for either a offer for a position or to get someone to accept. But if anybody attended town meeting this past week, our bylaws were approved by the town, so we needed to, the Council on Aging has redone our own bylaws that we were required to go to the town to have the town approve the fact that we were updating our bylaws, so the town meeting, our bylaws were approved, so.
Procedures.
I beg your pardon. Our policies and procedures, the Council on Aging Board policies and procedures were approved. Without any comment whatsoever. There was a Shine presentation on October 29th with Norm and Peggy McDonough. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly. In terms of, I'm assuming a lot of it had to do with Norm retiring or leaving us, but also Medicaid or Medicare sign-ups. So I'm going to come back on the public building meeting that I will touch on as I finish this. The Foss Trivia Night was October 27th. I believe that was a success, but we can hear from Elaine perhaps in a minute. The Formula One grant.
It was the 28th.
The 28th,
Yes.
okay. The Formula One grant budget for $52,080.
Not Formula One, just Formula.
Oh, what did I say? Formula, yeah, Formula.
It's not a race car.
Yeah, race car, right.
On your mind.
Which we welcome. The rates have gone up a little bit, and my understanding is when the 2020 census is done, it will also reflect other numbers moving forward, because it'll be positioned against people in Scituate, our town residents that are, I believe, 65 or older. So the state will up the ante a little bit after in 2021 theoretically, because our census numbers will have gone up. Laura Manier has left her position as the town social services and director and/or someone who is involved very much in caregiver support groups and facilitating a lot of things around town. I haven't had the opportunity to connect with Laura. I don't know if she's staying in town or if she's moving on to something else, but we're going to miss her. The municipal budget and goals for fiscal year 2021 were submitted to the town administrator. Linda met with the finance director and the town administrator on October 29th. Presented to the Board of Selectmen. This will be presented to the Board of Selectmen on December 3rd and the Finance Committee on December 5th. Kane case for Boston post-cane display and a plaque acknowledging Scituate House centenarians completed, which was something that I think Linda talked about even last year for anybody who wasn't around. So we wanted to try to do something to honor anybody in the town who's hit the age of 100. Because it seemed like it's a nice round number, and it's worthwhile to call attention to someone who's been with us that long. So, I guess there's a plaque here. Maybe Kathy knows where it is, but.
I don't know about the plaque, but the cane and the case is it.
Oh, okay. To honor those this year that have turned 100. I guess SCTV did a video clip of the Tai Chi class, and it's online on YouTube if anybody wants to take a look at it. We also, Lynn and I did a segment on last Tuesday on seniorities with Representative Patrick Kearney. So that's on YouTube also, although we had a little bit of trouble with the audio on that taping, but we did it. We met. Upcoming events on the docket in the month of November, which is gonna start to get busy probably. Thanksgiving luncheon has been generously offered to the senior centers by the River Club. And will take place on November 17th at 1:30 for 180 people. And they're will be music provided by a 5-piece Play It Again band. I'm assuming sign-ups are required. I don't know where we are on sign-ups.
Very close to it.
It's awful nice for the River Club to work with us to supply the venue and I think the food for 180 people for a Thanksgiving dinner. That's very nice. Our age-friendly, live well Scituate steering committee update. I don't think much has happened, unless it's just something going on behind the scenes here, but our next meeting is not scheduled yet. We were trying to get some groups to go out to conduct listening sessions in the community, but we haven't set up times or a timetable on that. There's a short introductory slideshow to identify and describe objectives for listening sessions in Scituate Cable TV. So I'm assuming maybe Caitlin is working on a slide presentation for that. And there will be postcards to solicit community assessment of strengths, challenges, and improvements sent out to, I'm assuming, a subset or perhaps a lot of seniors or folks randomly in the community. But I don't know, have the details on that. Senior Center project. So I can report out a little bit on this. All of our, so our we're in an open bid session right now. Which closes next week, a week from yesterday, November 20th. There have been some bids that have been submitted. The general contractor for a lot of the subs that are perhaps bidding on the new building. The general contractor bids are finalized or closed, I believe, by next Wednesday, the 20th of November. Everything is contingent upon the numbers that are submitted on those bids. Again, my understanding on the project in a macro view is, because this is a $10+ million project, the state's involved. Because the state's involved, and it's an open bid, we're required by law, I believe, to take the low bidder. There may be some exceptions there, but so we're hoping that we'll get some competitive bids in based on the estimated project and our estimated costs. We'll find out next week. We do have recourse to then sort of do a last-minute double check with whomever is being considered through the state again, and through Steve Kirby, who was here last month. But we expect we'll probably know in a week and a half if where those numbers are and who our potential general contractor is. If the numbers are high, we start all over
On the bid process.
on the bid process. Well, not on the bid process, I'm going back to town meeting to get more money for the project. I'm not kidding.
Well, the
So-
safety complex had to do that.
Right. So, we're hoping that competitive bids will come in on our numbers or slightly below our numbers. The low bidder will win, but if all 6 or 7 general contractors who are bidding on this project come in high, we can't move forward until we've approved the money. So that puts us right back to square one. So we're hoping that won't happen. We're hoping that we'll get competitive bids, we'll have a general contractor that we can move forward with. That will then, Steve Kirby and a couple of people from the Public Building Commission will sort of do some behind the scenes, back and forth perhaps with Steve to make sure that everything is A-okay with those bidders, you know, that anything that they've recently worked on has still been fine, there hasn't been any complaints issued to the state. And they will have we'll have a special meeting of the Public Building Commission on the Monday, December 2nd, in anticipation of hopefully closing this up to a great degree, so that we can go to the Board of Selectmen on Tuesday the 3rd for their next meeting, and report out on the general contractor, the bid process, if anyone has any questions, and hopefully get sort of a final approval on that. And in which case, the bid is, and the contract is also that the participant, the general contractor, commits to basically having this thing done in a year. So when we say go, whoever is won the bid has got to be ready to go, and we expect to move forward quickly. We expect, just to elaborate a little bit, the process would involve simultaneously starting in a couple of different areas. Number one would be abatement of the ceiling and then demolition of the ceiling. And simultaneously, because we're gonna put an elevator, the proposal is to put an elevator in the new gym, and therefore knock down the entrance to the gym and make it not usable while the elevator is being put in. We're gonna be going around to the side of the building adjacent to the tennis courts, and there's an entrance into the building there, and that's gonna have to be redone and made ADA accessible so that can be used as the main entrance while the elevator is being put on the other corner as the main entrance. So ideally, simultaneously, work would be done on abatement and on a new entrance, and then a new entrance would be built, and a building would be demolished, and that might start soon, but that's where we are on the process right now. So we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed that there's some contractors out there that are hungry and are gonna give us a good bid, and away we go. So that's my director's report for Linda, or Linda's director's report by me. Does anyone have any questions on any of that? And I may not be able to answer.
Do you know anything about the lawsuit?
I do not. I have not been privy to any conversations, but my understanding is the town feels comfortable moving forward right now. I don't know, that doesn't tell me anything other than there's been some conversations, there's been some back and forth. I don't know who's been involved besides Jim Boudreau, and town council, but they are not stopping the process at this point in time because of that. So I'm assuming there may be some things that can be rectified over time, but I have nothing privy to any of that. But that was reported out by Steve a couple days ago.
What's the lawsuit?
There was a lawsuit filed by the abutters,
Oh, we read that.
citing the town and the planning board And I can't give you a lot of detail off the top of my head, I mean, I probably got that information, but, it was still involving things like traffic flow, sight lines, speed limits, entryways to the land and the proposing the building, not necessarily anything involved in the building or the gym reconstruction and redo. It was sort of the greater campus, on borders, on entries, on, you know, is traffic moving too fast on First Parish to take a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn to go into a new entrance, and things along those lines. Traffic studies have been done and approved, so, but that was the focus of the lawsuit. So,
If we have to go back to the town for more money, is that, would we have to wait till April, or would they ask for a special town meeting?
it's a good question. I'd like to go for a special town meeting day after Christmas, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I'm assuming we probably could make it a special town meeting. I mean, I think the board of selectmen would be okay with that. I really don't know how often the town is allowed to do that. And it does cost the town money to do a special town meeting, but, hopefully we won't have to, but we don't know. Anybody else have any other questions that I might be able to answer? Okay. Well, we're honored to have a wealth of information with us on the transportation. And I've got a question for you anyway when you're done, but I want to turn it over to Kathy Clarkson to give us a report on transportation.
You won't have this in your packet?
Yep, everyone should have a,
Net rides haven't changed much since September.
I'll say,
You'll say that there's an increase in the total number of rides requested, and there's a kind of related increase in the number of cancellations for more rides that are requested. It's kind of a natural ebb and flow, that there'll be more cancellations. But 68 people took transportation in October for a net total of rides of 576. We're still trying to do more out-of-town medical rides.
we're over 68.
Flip it over on the back.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Right.
There wasn't enough room to fit everything on the front, so I flip it on the back. But 68 clients. We continue to provide transportation to Scituate programs, special events, the Thanksgiving lunch, things like that, as well as we're trying to do the out-of-town medical rides. We're starting a shop box. I don't know if you've seen the signs or if you're interested, you can have them. The idea behind a lot of them is A, to get people where they want to go, because they've been asking to go to the Christmas tree shop, they've been asking to go to Job Lot. They all love Market Basket in Plymouth.
And your normal loop has been Hanover Mall,
Hanover Mall.
more or less.
We're
right?
substituting Target for Walmart right now on the Hanover Mall run that we're gonna continue to do. But everybody needs a Walmart run every now and then, so we're gonna piggyback it with, Market Basket in Plymouth. We also do, once a month on the third Monday, we bring a couple people up to the low vision program in Hingham. So what we decided to do was, if we've gotta put a second driver on to transport those people, rather than use a single driver and have to cancel some regular transportation that we do, we're gonna fill up the van. So next Monday, we're gonna put everybody in the van, bring a couple of people to the low vision program in Hingham, and continue on to the Derby Street shops. They wanna go to Whole Foods, they wanna go to Barnes and Noble. In December, I think, we're going to the shipyard, again, piggybacking on that. We do have a gentleman that goes to Pembroke for doctor's appointments, and we planned on piggybacking on his. We normally pay Social Community Action Council to transport him to his medical appointment in Pembroke every Monday. The idea was that we would fill up the van, bring him to the Christmas tree shop, bring him to his doctor's appointment. Everybody gets where they want to go. It's a net savings to us. but then he decided to cancel his doctor's appointment because he wanted to go on a shop hop. So we didn't see that one coming, but we'll work on that. But everybody seems happy, it's an incredible service.
That's still a
but
win, it's just not a,
It's not a net savings
Right.
of less than $12
Right.
when it comes to numbers.
Right.
plan.
But, yeah, it was a good plan.
Right.
It was a really good plan. But, so, it's a great service to the residents.
Can
that-
I
that
ask you,
avail
what's the
themselves.
sort of average age of the people who use this?
62 to 90 plus.
at least 80.
And they don't drive at all, or they do?
Some of them still do drive a little bit,
Yeah,
but they're not comfortable driving into Boston.
okay,
Or
the highway.
they don't want to drive down Route 3.
Yeah,
You know, they're comfortable driving
Yeah.
locally.
Sure.
They're comfortable driving during the day,
Sure.
maybe not to supper club when it gets dark.
right, Yeah.
So things like that. But it is a great service that's
Of
provided
course.
to the residents.
great.
Anybody have any questions?
Well, I
Oh, you
just-
said you had a
Yeah, I
question.
just said, I may know this answer already, but is there any way for the town of Scituate to collaborate with other towns, for example, on medical rides and things like that?
You know, I
Or
just went
is
to a
each,
meeting
like,
on
Cohasset's gotta
Tuesday.
do its thing, and Scituate's gotta do its thing, and Hingham's gotta do its thing?
You know,
Or is there a
Linda-
way to,
Linda and I have been talking about that, especially with medical transportation. I just had a meeting on Tuesday in Braintree with a group of other transportation people, COA directors, and that was a topic of conversation that, you know, I'm not sure what the answer is yet.
yeah, I'm not sure if we can
But-
coordinate, but if we could,
Yeah, if we did, you know, if we assumed responsibility maybe for going into Boston on Tuesdays,
Right.
you know, we could all kind of meet,
Right.
right,
hop on one van
Right.
and go in.
right,
But we're not there yet.
yeah,
We're thinking about it.
okay.
We're dipping our toes.
Okay.
'Cause that's sort of what happens with, I know with my dad, he was in McKinsey, and it was, you know, Mass Ride.
Yep.
And, you know, they go around to different places and pick up different people, and then, you know, different people from different places were going to different places, and sometimes it aggravated my dad that we, you know, have to wait or whatever, but.
Or follow the loop until he finally got to his
Yes,
destination.
exactly,
Right.
but on the other hand, it was more cost effective.
Right.
Kathy, it is a shared ride transportation, you know, schedule-dependent transportation service, so you're not always, it's not a private livery service.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Is the Scituate Community Action, their transportation, do they coordinate with you or are they completely separate?
If I get an out-of-town, we basically are the ride for Scituate,
Okay.
the transportation that we provide. If I get a ride request for an out-of-town medical appointment, I submit it to the council, to the South Shore Community Action Council. They provide the actual transportation. We've been asked by GATRA to start trying to do more out-of-town medicals ourselves. So if I've got a couple of clients going to Weymouth, and we have a driver available, we might take on those rides.
But Boston, you don't do?
Not now, because we typically have one person going to Boston, one person going to Plymouth, and it's not cost effective for us to do that.
Mm,
You know, if we had two,
right,
sure,
right.
but there have been days where we've taken 3 or 4 people to Weymouth. Got them all
And
through
Weymouth is still, I mean, like I do that all the time, Weymouth is still considered out of town, even
Is it?
not that far.
Yeah, but some people just don't, you know, even if they're still driving,
Yeah, no, no, I'm-
they just don't wanna
Well,
drive.
So any, out of town is anything beyond the Scituate border?
Anything beyond
Right.
Scituate.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. For instance, sometimes we take people up to, the X-ray facility in Cohasset,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it works out great on a Wednesday. We put them on the van with all the Shaw's shoppers. They drop off the Shaw's shoppers.
They get
Keep
their
on
They
going.
bring the
X-rays.
person up for their X-ray.
Yeah.
They come back and pick up the Shaw's shoppers. I'm all about efficiency. And then they bring everybody home.
Right,
Perfect sense. Everybody gets what they want and need.
yeah, yeah.
And do you actually take them to their home?
Sure, door to door,
Yeah,
door
pick up that door.
to door.
Good deal.
Keep this in
All
mind.
for $350.
The 350?
$1.75 each way,
In town.
$3.50 round trip
Right.
in town, and you can buy a 10 ride pass for $15. So it would bring it down to $3.
Hmm.
$10 round trip out of town, which is a value. We pay a lot more than that, but
Good
the
deal.
clients are asked to pay
Good
$10.
deal.
It's a good service.
So piggybacking a little bit on that, for example, if you know Cohasset, you know, they've got a group that, you know, if we've got a group that wants to go to Walmart, and you know Cohasset's got the same group that wants to go to Walmart, is there a way to consolidate that to an out, it would be an out-of-town ride, but it's still going to one destination, and maybe you could,
Well, depending on if we could take the 12 passenger or the 14 passenger van,
van, right?
we have 11 people on the van going to Hingham on Monday.
Okay, so it's already full.
We already have 8 or 9 people going to the next one.
Yeah, so,
Plymouth,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, so the van's already full.
So, or close
Now,
to it,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Don't
I'm
really
not
have room
sure
to
that we
build
could
one.
offer that right now
Yeah.
because of capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did get them, for some of them, they have like the Derby Street shops, they have a discount coupon card, you know, one of those shopper cards. So I got one for everybody in the map of the store and I don't know if it's in place, so some of them have them, some of them don't, but.
You're doing a great job, and they're seeing that, I'd love to work with you.
Thank you.
Really.
I try. It's a
There's a
nice
lot,
place to work.
there's a lot of moving parts for you.
There is.
A lot of moving parts, but as long as I paper, I'm good. It's when I lose the piece of paper that we get in trouble, but that doesn't happen very often, I can usually find it.
There are
A lot
endless
of
moving
moving
parts.
parts. I'm a little surprised sometimes that we haven't
You get,
misplaced.
right.
A person.
How about, are you, without comparing, are you making any headway on trying to get people to stop canceling? I know that was one of your pet initiatives.
You know, it happens, you know, people wake up, they don't feel
Right,
well.
Right,
Doctor appointments change, they, you know, the doctors might change their
Crummy weather.
appointments, happen to all of us.
Yep.
You know, we closed because of the storm.
yep,
I think it was October 17th. What we have done, we've tried with a few clients who have a 50% or more cancellation rate, because I do track that.
track
for-
that?
I do.
right.
For clients that I feel it's a value to track, not for everybody.
Got,
Um,
and those people will
But-
remain anonymous at this
Of
point.
course, and they're lovely people, but they have a really high cancellation rate, and it's not fair to schedule that time and maybe
Right,
not turn somebody else away, because you really have to turn anybody away, but maybe have somebody else have to make accommodations because they can't get that time. But what we talked about, Linda and I, was, and we've tried it with a handful of clients, is we're only letting them schedule their appointments 1 week out,
okay.
so they can't block 2 or 3 months of time, and then cancel half the time.
Well,
So that seems to be working well, and again, we're trying it with a handful of clients, those with the highest cancellation rates. And it does seem to be helping. It does seem to be helping.
when they cancel, do you ask for the reason why?
No. Sometimes they offer it.
Well, that might be something else to think about because, you know,
But if
if
it's the same players all the time, it could be,
It's fairly consistent.
yeah.
they,
But,
yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, if you have somebody that keeps canceling because they just change their mind and just decide not to go, you know, if something else came up or something like that, or maybe have some kind of a cancellation policy where they have to let you know.
Well, in theory, we have a cancellation policy, as opposed to 24 hours in advance. But again, anybody can wake up and not feel well.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
right,
the real issue is with no-shows, and those have significantly diminished because I've encouraged people not to, you know, not show up. You know, they typically show up for their rides. When they don't, sometimes it's a matter of concern because there's one lady who watches for the van, she's out there on time, and she didn't come out one day. So I asked the driver, do you have anybody else on the van? Because they're not supposed to leave the van,
Right.
especially if there's anybody else in the
Right,
van.
right.
There wasn't anybody in the van. She go knock on her door. Knocked on her door, there was no response. This isn't like this lady. I'm like, move on. So I called her a couple times and there was no answer. When I couldn't get her by the first thing the next morning, I called the son. She had fallen, hurt herself,
couldn't get the,
wasn't in the apartment, you know,
Oh.
had gone to rehab. She was safe, everything was good, but, you know, sometimes you know when they don't show,
There's something.
that you might have to send for a safety check or,
Yeah.
I'm sure
call the emergency
Meals
contact.
on Wheels people
Do
have
the same
similar
thing.
situations.
Yeah.
If they don't answer, yeah, God bless those drivers, my goodness, they are, we are so lucky.
Yeah.
We are. And the South Shore Community Action Council drivers are terrific. They really, take ownership of the clients that they serve all the time regularly.
And really, policy is that the driver shouldn't get out of the van at all, right?
Correct.
Well, right. I'm just checking. Like, I understand, I think sometimes you have to.
In reality, yes,
Yeah.
if somebody needs assistance.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Kathy? We thank you for keeping all these balls juggled in the air. And
You're
help-
very welcome.
and helping people to get out to where they gotta get, because for some people, this is their only lifeline to get out.
Yes. It is. All good.
Good.
You sure? Did you do it before?
I don't have an activities or a volunteer report. So,
Well, there is an
On the back.
activity
I'll have the
volunteer
back.
report,
Exactly.
it's the last page,
There's the volunteer. Oh, yeah, you want to see that?
by Lisa Thornton. Yeah.
okay, it's not my,
You
as
don't have any-
long as I can use this. So then I'll review Lisa's. Halloween and chocolate event was provided by North River Home Care and Partners Healthcare at Home. Many came in costumes. And there's in Halloween spirit, everyone left with a belly full of chocolate from the chocolate fountain and some information about health benefits chocolate. Good. Some took home a prize. Very nice, so we eat dark chocolate, it says. Jennifer Mayer, I hope I got that name correctly, from South Shore Hearing Center, presented information to help people listen to hearing healthcare. There's a new writing group that's gotten started with 5 to 7 participants. There is an expressive writing group that is already ongoing and is continuing here at the senior center. The October men's breakfast was held at Widows Walk, and the guest speaker was Town Administrator Jim Boudreau. There is a new No Rules Book Club, which has been very successful. The group read The Dream Daughter and is now reading Last Christmas in Paris for the December 18th book club meeting. Many thanks to volunteer Dr. Nancy Harris for getting some of the group off the ground with such enthusiasm and insight. Ukulele continued. The instructor has continued, offered to continue in December, but there's ukulele classes going on. There was a Norman Rockwell trip on October 16th, combined with Norwell and Council on Aging, which was a big success, I'm sure. Nice to get out to the Berkshires in October, and Norman Rockwell Museum is very nice. Coffee concert was offered by South Shore Conservatory and was headed by approximately 16 members. There's a walking group that is quote-unquote small but mighty, sometimes walking in cool and windy weather. I think I saw some of those people walking the other day. And the group is led by Lisa, or Dot Nyland. There's a trail walking group that's back on schedule until the end of November, which would be very nice to get out into the woods before it gets too cold. The Scituate 50+ networking group continues through December 18th, and Susan, you're probably on top of that, am I correct about that?
Yeah.
Anything to offer on?
No, other than the fact that this is the second year that Scituate has hosted the program. This year we have 17 locations in the state, and I'm now licensing the program for the purposes of trying to expand it, because the funding through MCOA is going to disappear, because I'm
Oh,
in the
really?
5th year of funding, which
Okay.
is highly unusual
Yeah.
for grant funding. Usually you get
One or 2 year, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I've been given like a year's notice, so but we've gone from 3 to 6 to 8 to 12 to 17 locations this year. And hopefully, I just actually did a guest speaking engagement for State Senator Bruce Tarr, who had heard about the program. We have groups in Ipswich as well as in Danvers and in North Andover, which are in his district. And so he heard about the program, thought it was great, and hosted a breakfast for all the COA directors and any of their staff that wanted to come. And I did a presentation on, employment as a pathway, the pathway to purpose. And so out of that, actually, I have two of the COA directors that were there want to start the program. So the program is continuing to expand. We have it on the South Shore, we're really limited. We only have the group in Scituate and in Marshfield. We used to have a group in Barnstable.
I thought you were, yeah, probably also Plymouth, no?
No.
Okay.
We used to be in Barnstable, they were one of my pilot sites, but they were going through a major marketing campaign and didn't, after 4 years, they decided not to continue the program. So we really don't have a lot of visibility on the South Shore, which we really, and down on the Cape. So, I'd love to see it expand further.
So I'm curious about grant funding and/or do participants come for free or do they, so?
It's offered for free.
Is there something that
It's
you
really-
think you could establish a $10 per
No.
meeting fee or anything along those
We
lines?
tried doing that the first couple of years. We actually had it as like a donation
Yeah.
kind of a thing. The problem is you're dealing with people that are
Looking for work.
50-something, 60-something, they're
Looking for work.
unemployed, and they're really devastated.
Yeah.
And they're not in a good situation. Some of these people have kids in college, or they have a daughter that's getting married, or they had bought a summer home or a boat, or both when things were great, and now they're, 68 and laid off for the first time in their life. So it's really hard to ask. And then we also have people that retired that are looking for a second act career.
Yeah.
So a lot of those people, the reason why they're looking for it is because they discovered they can't afford to live on their retirement. So they're really not, and we've debated this back and forth, because people will pay, $5 for chair yoga, but
Right.
this is a different set, it's a different set of circumstances.
dynamics.
So we, always offered it for free. It's not a very expensive program to fund in the big picture. It's about $5,000 for the year, and a big chunk of that
Per
is
site?
per site.
Okay.
And a big chunk of it, some of it is to pay me,
Mhm.
and some of it is to pay the group leaders. I have 8 group leaders that report to me that actually do the facilitation, so.
I'm just trying to think about how to fund it. That's all.
Well, I would love to get in with, like, the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
To try to tap into some of the businesses. So it's really like working with each individual site that's interested in the program to either tap into their friends of, which
Right.
do have money.
Right.
Like Bedford is running the program this year, and they're getting the funding from their friends of. We have it at a couple of libraries, and the libraries also have friends of.
How's the Scituate Education Foundation?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, they're good.
Well, that would
Well,
be,
that
so,
would be a grant, right?
Yeah.
So
It'll be
for
a
next,
one-time.
next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tapped into them. The
what's it called? The
Scituate Education Foundation, they're very good.
Mhm.
They're funding the art appreciation
Say that again?
program. They're funding the art appreciation program. That's
Oh, yeah. So they're very generous.
Right, well, that's,
And
so
they have
each
two
host site
projects.
is, the ones that are existing are responsible for finding funding. So I'm sure, I can talk to Linda about that.
We'll give you a name.
Yeah, okay, that'd be great, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so spread the word
Mhm.
if you, have any contacts with any of the other COAs.
We have another art class back on Mondays. Joan Hepandrea is back teaching art class. Students and COA staff are very happy to have her back at the Center of Teaching and Visiting. There is a monthly art appreciation series for Janice that's been partially funded. I don't know the details through a grant with Scituate Education. Art
Is
for
that
your,
the
Really?
act of
Have you
mind?
gone?
art for your mind, yeah.
Yeah.
22 people, 14 people signed up to come the other day. 22 people more in addition to the 14 showed up.
Really?
You know, Kathy,
Very successful.
I wasn't around until last night. From where I was, I'm telling people, get to that meeting, get to that. They did Wyeth yesterday,
Yes.
3 generations, and
Yeah.
it was terrific.
It was terrific.
I know, and I
It was a
wasn't
full
here.
house.
They've all been terrific.
They have been, they really have
So
been.
what do they do?
Art appreciation, such as.
You know, she'll
There's
she'll
a
slide.
slide
she'll
show
show
presentation.
Oh, I see, so it's like a
discussion.
slide, so,
I did
okay, like a
one.
lecture,
You
okay.
know, in
Yes.
Rockwell the last time.
And then they she's really
No one's gonna
fabulous
stay
speaker.
The
Which
stage,
I saw that I couldn't come into the.
I know.
that's really the
Jill
Jill
Sanford.
Sanford thing.
Very
Is
good.
that Jill Sanford, is that the?
Yes, Joseph.
So Jill, who does an interactive learning program on a different topic each month for Art for Your Mind.
So, Kathy, do you know if there's any thought about moving it outside of here since it was packed? You don't know.
They keep me back in my little corner. Every now and then I overhear something.
'Cause I mean, that's the
Or I walk
thing.
by the door and,
Yeah, I mean, just to throw it out, I mean, like the 50-plus group meets at the library in the presentation
big
room
room.
that's, the big room that's downstairs
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
it couldn't be accommodated here.
Yeah.
So that would be something.
Part of the reason why it was so crowded though is they had these tables set up. Instead of just having chairs and
Chairs.
rows,
Oh, why was
they had all
that?
the tables in, so we were up against the wall in the back.
Why the tables, I wonder, because my favorite was
I don't know.
lectures. Wow. Okay.
They had coffee and
Oh, maybe.
lunches maybe?
Maybe.
So it's sponsored by the Art for the Mind is sponsored by a grant from Scituate Education Foundation, so
Okay.
we thank them. And there was, the second annual Family Fun Walk was held on October 6th. And I don't know, what Linda reported on that last month, I believe it was a pretty
Yeah.
decent
Yeah,
turnout.
more than
And,
last
I
year.
think it's in the last
It's
one.
in the
Yeah.
minutes, yeah.
I want to say 85 someone walkers, perhaps, but that's the number that I thought I heard her say, but I don't know.
I don't think it's that good. No,
Okay. Okay. So that's Lisa's activities report. Does anybody have any questions on any of that? Susan, thank you very much. It is not in my packet. I will pass it back to you. And if no one has any questions on any of that, we'll move to, well, Karen Canfield also had a conflict, so she's unable to make it tonight as our liaison from the Board of Selectmen, but we have stuff for other services with Joan Pop.
Well, a meeting was held on November 5th, and as always, they do a financial report, and they also gave us a draft of the audit coming up. They continue to grow, close to 4,000 workers. Training continues on the internet for the different managers and workers. The annual meeting is on November 20th at Lantana's, when they give awards to the workers. The key speaker is Joseph Reardon, a vice president for one of the funeral homes. And the Edith D. Duncan Award will be presented to Rick Doan, Executive Director of Interfaith Social Services, for his extensive services to the elderly and those in need on the South Shore. The community dinner at St. Luke's is November 24th, and it's going to be apple top pork loin, potatoes and mixed vegetables, salad and rolls, and gingerbread with cream. And then the other thing that we got at South Shore Elder Service, I made copies because I really think it's pretty good. They handed out as 7 characteristics of a successful company cultures.
Nice.
So I thought that would be interesting for everybody to have a copy.
Thank you,
Well,
Jim.
that's all, yeah.
very interesting. That's it.
Okay, thank you, John.
This is good.
So November, what's the email again?
Twenty-fourth.
24th.
24th, Sunday, the 24th,
Sunday,
5 o'clock.
Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Right, it's always the fourth Sunday.
Okay.
John, what is your position with Scituate Elder Services?
I'm on the board. So I represent Scituate. Every council of aging has a representative on the
Oh,
board.
I see, okay, so you're the representative of the council.
Scituate.
I see. And, where are you based out of, or where are they based out of?
Right now, they're in Braintree, on Route 37.
Elaine, Friends of Scituate Seniors.
Yeah, we've been busy, this is our busy time of the year. We had our fashion show at the end of September, that was quite successful. We have learned that we should do it in the afternoon, not in the evening. And that's a good thing to learn. So it was much more profitable than last year. Our trivia night was the 28th, that's a Friday, I believe. And it was successful, very successful. We had a couple of glitches that we had to deal with the last minute, like the village market was supposed to provide some of the pizzas, but their pizza oven broke. So we had to run around and find a different pizza dough maker that would be able to supply us. And we had a last minute glitch with the liquor license, so, but it was all handled effectively, just, you know, a little stress on the people handling it. But it was
It was a lot of fun.
great.
It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, it was very good. It wasn't as crowded as it has been in the past, but it was very good and it was definitely profitable. And we are now gearing up for the Christmas fair, which will be November 30th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, at St. Mary's from 9 to 2. Drop off for any white elephant item donations type things is Friday the 29th from 3:30 to 5:30 again at St. Mary's. But we're also having some vendors this year that we haven't done that in the past. We haven't had vendors, that has all been FOSS members that have been doing it. So we're having, it's a trial, like a pilot, so we're having 4 or 5 vendors to see how that's gonna work out. So hoping to just make things a little bit different. So
What kinds of things are you looking for in terms of donations?
well, the white, I don't have the flyer. But the white elephant table was, you know, small furniture. Well, hang on, let me see if I can find it on my phone.
Dishes, glasses.
Dishes, glasses,
Pocketbooks.
but not chipped dishes.
Right, in
and
good
not-
condition, in good condition.
Yeah, because we've had issues with,
But Elaine,
Is
you
it on the
talking
website?
furniture?
Is it on the website?
Small.
it's
Like tables and chairs?
on Scituate Monthly. There's a thing of what we want and what we don't want. There's been a publication from FOSS. There's also, I have no service here, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find.
I can look it up, I just thought I'm just curious, because still have a
No
whole
big
lot of
stuff, no,
from when I
no big
moved here.
equipment like.
Well,
It's
stuff
still in
is,
bubble wrap.
stuff is good, it's just, we don't want big stuff because it's hard for us to move it around.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like furniture, I'm talking about
Knick-knack, glasses.
like
dishes.
serving pieces.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And we're also, this year is another new thing, and I'm going to tell you what it is, but I can't really differentiate for you how it's different from a white elephant, because I'm a little bit unsure of that myself. But it's a new and used table, so it's gonna be like new
For
items.
displays, there'll be
It's
new items
probably-
and
and
used.
Elaine,
used items, but
Elaine,
the white elephant is,
It's
you know, so it's
regifting.
better than the white
What
elephant.
it is probably regifting. You got a gift, it's pretty good, you don't want it.
It might be, yeah, something like that.
Versus saw it.
Yeah.
And also went to St. Mary's.
So that's the type of thing, so they're trying to differentiate. We've had problems with the white elephant that we've had things dropped off that were like,
To
oh,
get rid of it.
why are we,
Yeah.
we're not the local dump, you know?
Yeah.
That's it, we do the same thing when we had at St. Luke, we got, exercise equipment, huge stuff,
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
tell them, we don't need this.
And
we have enough places."
outdated electronics that don't, that don't work anymore, and, So, anyway, that's what we're,
Do you have crafts, like?
yes,
Christmas
oh,
and things
crafts,
like that?
knitting, baked goods,
Fire starters.
that's in the crafts.
They're looking for baked goods, I know they're looking for baked goods.
Yeah, baked goods, there will be greenery,
Yeah, I was
doing
gonna say
something
like
with the green.
wreaths and
yeah,
things like that.
and
There's a,
topiaries and that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
okay, yeah.
They're
I
really
just- I
nice.
used to go to St. Mary's in North Attleboro, and they had like an unbelievable
there,
Christmas fair, and I used
they're
to,
like wooden blocks.
I miss
Somebody's
having that.
Oh, there's like millions of them around town, but we got the early date this year, so.
Made the fire starters last summer.
Yeah, because all the churches do it too, right?
Yeah, and usually it's the first Saturday in December, so we got the last Saturday in
Yeah.
November to beat them up.
That's actually a good time to have it, because once.
There's a lot of people here for Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
hopefully.
Getting people in the spirit after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it's November 30th, and where can people go to look to find what's needed, or?
Situate Monthly,
Okay.
there are things.
The phosphate.
The FOSS page would also have it.
Okay, good.
The what page?
Foss.
Foss,
F-O-S.
F-O.
No, I
Friends
know,
and
you
Seniors Facebook
have
page.
your own, oh, you have
You
your own
can put it on
Facebook page,
Facebook.
okay.
Okay. Anything else for Foss, Elaine?
Nope,
Are you
yep,
handling community campus and/or capital committee update?
sure,
Okay,
since I'm the only one here.
okay.
We are moving forward, I know people here are aware of, Janice, I think, you're aware of our publishing project.
The calendar.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. 2020 calendar, Situate's Noble Men is the name of the calendar. And there's a backstory on the back of the calendar that was gonna explain how this Situate's Noble Men came up. I can't give you all the exacts, but it talks about how we've been working so hard and so long for a senior center, and we've had our ups and downs, and we've had some glitches and things we've had to work out. And then these noble men from Scituate volunteered to help with the cause, and these are the noble men that are in the calendar.
Here they are.
These are,
What are they gonna be wearing?
whatever is associated
It's like
with
a
their
Chippendale calendar or something. Yeah.
And can we have a
Abbey
list
Road
of the
one.
men?
I did, it's awesome. The pictures are fantastic. There is, Doc Ellis Band is doing Abbey Road. If anybody remembers Abbey Road, they're doing that on Front Street.
That's cool.
Yeah, in the middle of Saturday morning. Yeah, it was freezing cold last Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was traffic, 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning in Scituate, Iowa. But they got the pictures done. We have a surfer, Rich Bonanno, who's well-known in the town. We have a Santa Claus out at the tree farm. Again, that was on Saturdays, freezing cold. We have a couple of, we have King Neptune. It's hysterical. And we have a patriotic gentleman on, that will be the cover because of the colors involved and everything, so it's really eye-catching. There's just some really, really unique pictures.
How much of the calendar's gonna cost?
The cost of the calendar is $20.
Next
it is
year,
going
we're
to
doing
print.
the noble women?
We didn't even discuss
You wanna volunteer?
getting pictures of it. You can do topless with a man.
All right, no noble women, we're off.
So it's $20, and are you moving towards?
It's going to print.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
where will you sell it?
Awesome.
All over town. We will have them available at the Christmas fair.
Okay.
Oh, good.
And then there are a number, we had like 28 sponsors paid
Oh,
to
good.
Nice.
get logos on that, on each individual calendar page. And most of those people are willing to have the calendars for sale in their
Facility.
businesses.
Oh.
So, that's good, and we're
They'll
gonna,
sell
put-
them.
wherever Dr. Ellis is performing, we're gonna have calendars. But it's just gonna be,
That's great.
hopefully,
That's a great idea.
it'll be,
Did you print
very
a lot of
possible.
them?
They're gonna need a lot.
Well, You know, we were gonna do 1,500, but somehow or
Yeah.
other they just went to 1,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
thank you, I agree, it should be
I
a lot
thought you were
more.
gonna say it went up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you know,
No, I think it's.
some people are nervous, and then they said, well, $20 is way too much. I mean, no, it's not. So,
I mean,
I
you
did
get a
well
winning
with that.
fundraiser,
I'll
they
buy a
want
half
20
a
bucks for
dozen
the raffle.
myself.
I'm buying 3, you know, it's just like, I will relay that we need to get
One
more
of
than
all the-
How
that.
long does it take to print, like if they had to order more, how, what's the
Well,
turnaround?
today,
I thought Gordon said that could easily be.
we can do it, I mean, it'll be all set up and ready to
Easier
go.
reprint than
Oh,
like
thanks.
It just,
stuck with.
you know, it might be cheaper to do it all at once.
Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah, I know, is it?
Yeah.
But, so I'll relay that, Gordon's in California, but Jerry Clemick is doing most
Yeah.
of the work for this, and he was the photographer,
Yeah.
so.
Great.
Ready to get run over on
$1,000
Front Street. With cars, I can't picture that. But, and we have, reserved a date, in the spring, May 3rd, at the River Club, to have,
Oh, right, that was one of the only days that they were even available, right?
right, you know, there were more dates available at Barker Tavern, but it was more pricey at Barker Tavern, so, we went with the River Club, for, you know, a significant fundraising event. The theme we're looking at is a junior senior prom, because we want to incorporate juniors as well as seniors, so. More details will follow on that,
Okay.
and hopefully I have,
Hmm?
yeah. We have an in with the Dr. Ellis Band.
Has anything happened on the direct mail?
We sent out
Yeah.
2,300. We got, unfortunately, this was based on voter registration. We got
A lot of returns?
150 returned, you know, vacant,
Yeah, right.
like there were summer residents or something. I don't know why you would register here as a voter if you were a summer resident, but, so we got a lot of that back.
What was the mailer?
The mailing was to two Scituate residents, Scituate registered voters, over the age of 70 and a half, to address the
Minimum
Required.
distribution.
the minimum required
And see if
distribution that you could do as a total,
they make a
total
donation with
tax-free,
their-
um,
Right.
from your IRA
Yeah.
directly to
Yeah.
FOSS,
Yeah.
Build Campus, because it's a 501c.
Yeah, tax right up for donation.
We haven't got anything on that yet.
Okay.
No feedback. We have got some, we know that they're from that, we've got some donations, but nothing that has come through from an outside IRA yet. And I think part of that might have to do with people waiting to the end of the year, because
Yeah.
that's typically when you do that. I know, I looked into doing it for mine, and they said, well, you have to wait till after December 1st, otherwise it'll foul up your other, you know.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Mhm.
hopefully, that's it. There will be more mailings
It's a
going
good
out.
idea. People need to know that it's an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't mean that you can't do it again next year, too.
Right. And there will be more mailings going out to residents that are not 70 and a half and older.
Yep.
Just a general request for
Yep,
donations, I
yep,
think.
yep. Okay. So busy.
Very busy, exciting. I can't wait to see the fully printed calendar. It's really gonna be fun. Really gonna be fun.
Everybody's gonna feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very good.
people are looking at me like, you just want to go look at them. I said, yeah, but. Katie, why didn't you volunteer?
So what, so
Yeah,
are
I
they,
don't know.
are they,
Stop with
are they all,
that.
they're gonna be all
I'm changing
individually
the
shrink
subject.
wrapped?
What? Excuse me?
Like, are they gonna be individually shrink wrapped so you can't peek?
So you got-
I-
Like you have to buy it to open?
No,
Yes.
On the back.
They're on the back of most calendars, you can have there's a small
the picture,
print
right.
of each month. So you can see the small
Okay.
picture. And I don't think they're gonna be individually shrink wrapped, but you
Just
can
curious.
see everybody that's on there on the back of the calendar.
It's so funny, it's so funny.
Very good. Very good. So we're getting late here a little bit. Let's move to any new business, old business. We certainly want to come back around and welcome our new members, Maud and Susan. And maybe I'll just hop in. So next month, we were thinking of trying to put together a board meeting at a different venue, so that after the meeting, we could socialize a little bit. Whether you call it a holiday party or whether you call it because you guys don't know everybody here, I don't think, or maybe you do, but, so we wanna give people time to meet new members, and give members time to meet, et cetera. So we thought maybe we would try to have a meeting at a different venue, and then at the end of the meeting, be able to
Just took a look.
maybe have a glass of wine, or maybe have something to eat. I'm not sure where that location is, so
That's somewhere here in.
the
Well-
only place that Linda's mentioned to me is Widow's Walk.
And
That would
she
be
has, she
Yeah.
has confirmed.
Because quiet would be the only ones there.
Yeah.
She's confirmed with them next.
Okay.
Yeah, our next meeting date that they would be able to,
Yeah.
And it will be on a Thursday.
It'll be on December 12th.
December 12th, yeah, the second Thursday of the
At
month.
Widow's
So-
Yeah,
Walk.
I know.
So we'll certainly send that out to people, but it would be, it's a social month in December anyways, but this would be more for board to be able to socialize with one another. Along those lines, so in our new policies and procedures, we have sort of initiated having associate members. And the concept here is pretty simple. We want to plan for succession, we want to plan for transition, we want to encourage people who are interested to continue to be involved. And an associate member would be a non-voting member of this board, but would be a participant, would be a participant, would be attending meetings on a regular basis, as we all, hope we all do. And be up to speed on some of our conversations and issues, et cetera, so that if someone has to leave this board, maybe we have someone who can begin to step in, or the following year, when people's terms expire, somebody who's been involved and is up to speed a little bit can step in, if they want.
We'd recommend that to the
Right.
Board of Selectmen when they make their appointments.
So, my thinking is next month, we maybe issue some invitations to people that might want to be associates.
You mean next month meeting?
Next month's meeting.
Well, I guess my thought on that, I'd hate to bring, they've already gone before the board. We had 7 applicants, so we had 5 people out there who were expressed interest. Do we want to bring them to a board meeting and then turn around and say, we have been selected with them? I guess that's
Would that be
my,
at the same thing as the holiday party?
the same meeting,
Oh,
yeah,
same
next
meeting,
month.
yeah.
I guess that's my only thought. The Board of Selectmen has already said.
How many associate
Well,
members are you thinking about?
we want to build a process, so we want to figure out how to address this.
Right,
really.
so our procedures, as our new updated procedures, which we will be sure to get you a copy of when Linda's back, are up to 3 members, up to 3 associate members we allowed for.
So five, so
So
there were
how do you
5
do it with
people that
5?
were interested, so then you would still be able to reach out to them.
Right, and I'd hate to bring them to a meeting and then
Yeah,
once again
right.
say we didn't select you.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I would like to be able to reach out and see what the interest is based on, maybe have a conversation with Linda of where, the next,
Maybe we would do it behind the scenes and have a cup of coffee with people, or
or
On a
just,
telephone
yeah,
conversation
let them know
or-
what this associate membership is and if they're interested,
They might not be.
They might.
Right.
They might not be, and I think at least one other member was appointed to the veterans.
I believe that's correct, right?
So, that would narrow it down to
Right.
4 people, and I would think.
And on the flip side, there might be some people who didn't formally apply,
Mhm.
who would be interested in being associated. So we're sort of treading on new ground, and it would be nice to build some kind of a policy around how to attract, how to approach, how to let people know
I
this
guess-
is a
Well, I mean,
possibility.
it
So
sounds like
close
that
to-
when the selectmen say there's open positions, they get a lot of members, and they already have, I mean, they do all the legwork, really. So
Right,
you
I
can-
mean, we already have those people
Right.
we know are interested.
Right.
Right.
And we, since it's so close to the appointment, I think we can easily use that list.
Mhm.
Let's maybe, when's Linda back, do you know?
Monday.
Next week.
Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can kind of,
But I
Yeah,
think
she's
you're right,
fun
keep
sweet.
it low key, don't,
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, I know I had talked to Karen, we've talked to Karen to see who else they were considering.
Mhm.
And extend, maybe a couple of phone calls and see if they're interested in bringing them along to the December meeting. To
Okay.
socialize and.
And Janice, can I ask a question? The other night, when we were at that Scituate Education Foundation, you were talking about 2 events that were in the making. One was on the 20th and one was on the 18th. One was the 20th of November and then the 18th. Something with Linda about an entertainment or?
Well, yeah,
So next-
it was
next
in
week,
the,
yes.
it was in the newsletter, it was
I'm
called
gonna wait, so
after,
I'm
it was
looking at-
called, I forget how they
Oh,
put
the
it. After-
acapella group, Street
yes.
Magic at St.,
After dark.
Oh, yeah,
Station
that was
8
gonna be like
in
a
Plymouth.
super after dark thing.
I think it's Wednesday, is it November
Yeah,
18th?
I know
It's
that was
the
the
20th.
20th.
We've got to, I got to.
It's next Wednesday, the
Rotary
20th.
Okay, then maybe
at
it's December 18th.
And then December 18th, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then December,
And where is that going to take place?
Station 8 in
This
Plymouth?
station
March.
is doing it
March,
twice.
yeah.
Station 8 in
in
Marshfield or in
Marshfield.
Plymouth?
In Marshfield.
March-
Marshfield?
No, Marshfield.
Right down
Yeah.
on Main Street
Oh, it's
in,
Marshfield.
in
Sorry.
in Marshfield.
Yeah. And is that gonna be van driven for people
No,
who
the
signed
whole
up?
thing is to just, at least that's what she told me. It's not
That's
gonna
what?
be driven.
So, okay,
People
here,
are just gonna go there.
what do you
At least
think?
that's what she told me. I don't know, maybe she changed her mind.
I think that this was to provide transportation.
No?
I have a van and a driver lined up just in case.
Okay.
Okay.
I haven't, don't go by me, I mean, that's what she had suggested, but,
Okay.
I mean, maybe she's gonna do both, maybe it's that, you know, if you
No, I'm
wanna go.
sure if you
Yeah.
wanna go, you can
Oh,
go
yeah.
yourself, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I know what it's all about.
Yeah.
But it's twice?
I had suggested it, that I had, a friend, my sister had seen them, and I was talking to Linda about it. I said, I think this would be another, just another outing for a different, maybe a different group of people who may be interested.
Got it, okay.
And so she went to see them last month, liked it very much, and has put it on the calendar.
Okay.
For the November 18th, and what's the December date?
No, it's
No,
November
November
20th,
20th and December 18th.
December 18th.
Yeah. And, yeah, so I think it's, go down,
Both
I think the
Wednesdays.
music starts at 7, so it's going from 6 to 8:30 or 6:30.
I think,
It's in the newsletter.
let's take a look.
Oh.
Give me a moment, carry on. I'll jump in when I find it.
Are these newsletters mailed out?
Yep.
And they're also online.
well, I think you have to sign up for.
Oh, okay.
They're also online.
Well, I think you'll be signed up now that you're
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
Make sure.
The only other, well, does anybody have any other business other than the
Well, I
last
actually,
is
one other thing that I
secretary?
had thought about, and this may already take place, and maybe Kathy, you might know, because you're our resident senior center person here. Is there any kind of a welcome, anything that's done for new people who join this council on aging?
I don't know for people that, sign up and get their little swipe card and whatever. I know Jenny has something, because I put in transportation information. I'm not sure who that goes out to, but other than that, I'm not aware of anything.
Okay, I'll talk to Linda. I had met a woman
Is that the
who,
swipe tag? Nothing else, right?
the little,
Yeah,
passes.
we don't probably do anything else.
That's what I wondered, if maybe it would make sense, like, every, every 2 months or something, new people, I don't know what the numbers are that do sign up. But I met a woman who is a senior, and she said she hasn't met anyone, and I said, well, I'm gonna get you some information about the senior center, they have some wonderful things, and then I thought, I wonder if there's any kind of
Yeah.
a little formal welcome.
Was
Introductory.
it somebody who's new to town?
Well, that's
She's moved here, yeah, within the
So
last.
I wonder if like there's the newcomers club, but I wonder
Well,
if they
can
only
I mean,
talk.
having moved here just 2 years ago, so there is a woman
Yeah.
who
Yeah, the Scituate
runs
newcomers.
Yeah,
a
that's-
welcome,
Hello, Scituate.
Yeah,
Hello,
yeah.
Scituate.
Yeah.
welcome
Mhm.
wagon.
Elizabeth. Yep.
Yeah. She did come, scared the heck out of me, but she did come to my house. Well, because, you move in, you don't
And
know
all of a sudden
anyone,
somebody's
somebody's
knocking on
like
your door.
knocking on your door, it's like, wait a minute.
Well, maybe, I wonder if she, I mean, I remember her coming to my house when we moved back. And
But I,
she had a lot of things, but they weren't geared towards seniors, so maybe
Yeah.
No.
Linda can reach out to her.
But
Well,
then
Maybe
again,
it
can I
has
just
to be
ask-
on us, too.
in her bundle, we try to give her senior center
Yes.
flyer, but
Yep.
we have trouble getting a senior center flyer from here to get to Lisa.
can
Yeah.
I just say, can I ask a question of the population that's here now, and this is sort of like me going into a different, it's directly related, because I was on the same page as you. How do you define senior?
Well, in our updated bylaw procedures, we define them as 55 and over.
Okay, so, I mean, I think it's a great idea, and leapfrogging off of that, I mean, it would be really great to somehow or other introduce any person moving into the town who's 55 and older about the senior center. Because I can tell you from starting this 50-plus program, the vast majority of the people that go to the program have never stepped foot inside of a senior center before they started coming to the program. And that's part of the value proposition for the senior centers to host it.
Yeah.
But the point is that, I mean, for myself, I mean, I moved into town on December 28th, in the middle of the winter, and then we had like 3 major storms. I didn't know anyone, and it wasn't until I started, driving the expansion of this program and decided I want to have it in the town that I live in. I had no idea the depth of the programming that's
No.
here. And I know personally, there's a lot of people that I know that are in that demographic that have never
Right.
stepped foot inside of this place or gone to any of the programming. And I
But I
think,
also know a lot of people, my age, younger, older, that would never want to.
Because
They have a
they're
very
not seniors.
distinct
They don't
attitude.
enable-
They're not
Yes.
aware,
I'm not
correct,
aware.
of all the wonderful programs.
Programming,
Yeah.
programming.
Which
is-
I
right.
wasn't aware of until
Yeah, yeah.
I became part of this
no, I
board.
agree with you, and I think it's,
Oh, they
it's
think
part of the
everybody's
whole
over
thing of
80 or
breaking
something.
down the
Yeah.
barriers of the stereotype. That's why I put the question out,
They
how do
won't
you
hang
define
on.
senior?
It seems
I
to me
mean,
that,
I have a few friends that won't even ask for the senior citizen discount at Dunkin' Donuts,
Right,
right,
right.
to their loss,
Oh,
but,
sure, sure. Which is why I suggested this
yeah, I think it's a great idea.
outing at, the Station 8, that there's another,
Yeah,
there's many
another
demographics within a senior.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yeah, that's.
Speaking of
very
such, after dark dine out and
That's it.
music, 6 p.m. to 8:30, Street Magic at Station 8 Marshfield. Wednesday, November 20th, December 18th, music starts at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And I think that Linda said she was starting to work on sort of a prepared handout kind of thing
Right.
Introducing.
Welcome.
to coincide with building the new building.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I
So I
think that,
think-
that will be huge.
Isn't
you
there
know.
a new brochure that,
She redid a brochure a while back, yeah.
and that
At
included
least updated it.
like a,
Yeah,
like a
the
presentation
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
something, yeah.
But I
Like a
also have to
postcard.
say
It
that.
was supposed to.
And when we had the Heritage Days, I know one time over this she gave those, she
Yeah.
had
Yeah,
those available.
yeah.
The,
And
I
she had
mean,
put-
I'm also new since 4 years, and, you know, the first thing I did was go on the town of Scituate website and see what's going on. And there was quite a lot of news about the senior center on there. That's actually how I got
There you
interested.
go.
And this lady also came to my house and
Mhm.
scared me. But
So she probably went to your house after she went to my house.
and I was like, whoa. But most of it was commercial things or
Yeah.
things I was
Like
just not
discounts for
interested
things
in.
in town.
And,
It's just, yeah, things that are all over town.
Yeah.
I mean, she,
It was like dentists and.
Anyway, I mean, I think people are quite tech savvy these days, and if you want to know what's going on in Scituate, there's quite a lot on the just on the websites, and there's the Mariner you can read, and there's a
yeah,
lot
if
of
you
things.
subscribe to it, you gotta
No,
subscribe.
no, you
right?
can read all the
Well,
online
yeah.
as well.
But
Yeah.
that's, I mean, that's, you know, you were proactive, there are a lot of people that you sort of,
Don't know what they don't know.
yeah, yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great idea, I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk to Linda about it too, and just, I have no idea how many people that they give out them every month, or every 2 months, or every 6 months.
Neither
I don't know if there's 10 or
Right.
20. But, I think it would be nice to have a little inclusive, kind of a welcome, something.
Okay.
So I lost her, I think.
So, I'm gonna, we will confirm next month's location online, but we're tentatively gonna, it sounds like, go with Widow's Walk on December 12th, but we'll confirm that. The last thing on our agenda was simply a co-secretary nomination, or,
Solicitations first, maybe.
so, if any, especially, we're sort of looking at Susan and Maud, if you are at all interested in rotating as a secretary, because Leslie's doing it now, right?
So I got
She's already a
coerced
secretary.
at the parish council because no one else.
And they're
would-
good, you do a good job there. That's a
So,
good one.
which is really just reporting out on our meetings and providing meeting notes, so. So think about that. Does anybody else have any other business thoughts, comments?
Did everybody get one of these?
Yes,
Thank you.
Yep,
Oh, wait a minute.
I've got one.
So this would be a sample of the minutes, this
Yes.
whole
yes.
5-page thing?
Well, I
Well,
would
let me
say,
tell
I
you.
would say, that was one of the longest ones
Yeah.
I've
That's
done.
incredibly.
Yeah, that was
You're not gonna get
because, that was because we had Steve Kirby here, who is the,
Oh, yeah.
project manager of the senior center. There was Elizabeth Weber.
Yeah.
But,
If you forget anything, you can always watch it on YouTube.
well, that's what I do.
And for the new members, the community dinner is for anybody.
This what?
Oh, the one that's St.
It's only
Luke's?
donations, and if you wanna meet a lot of the seniors,
Oh, that's
I would
nice.
say 80% of them are seniors.
Yeah, I would agree with that,
80% at least.
yeah.
Are they young seniors or middle
It's a
seniors
mixed
or
bag.
elite
Weird. Is this
seniors?
a-
It's a
Some
mixed
that we
bag.
have like
Yeah.
a men's table, they're kind of the ones that work at the marketplace.
Yeah, those
Oh,
are
okay.
younger.
Okay.
Whatever, nothing
But,
done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
yeah.
I do agree with you that it's important not just to think seniors are, unusual.
Yeah.
There should be like
There's a whole
different
new branding
programs
going on.
for,
Yeah.
different activities, like the gym. or
Different age limit.
Different
Willing
interests,
to-
yeah, ages sort of.
And I think as we move into the new center where there's gonna be more
Right, and
of
space.
this.
Opportunity,
It'll be a good
Yeah,
intro.
yeah.
We've got a year to work on
Programming,
that with
yeah.
them.
Facilities, resources, yeah,
Yeah, there'll be a lot more opportunities to do interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anybody else have anything, and/or do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn?
Do I have a second? Very good. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving in a week and a half. All of a sudden, we'll be in the Christmas season.
Like, quick.
This is the check for Larry again.
And
Oh,
I Jill had me leave.
Right, there's the invoice there, so now there's the check here for Linda, so I don't,
Jill got-
God, wait
Okay.
until.
Does Nancy go
That
on?
was easy.
very good, very good.
Okay.
I didn't sign in.
Nice seeing you.
Oh,
You guys all done?
Yep.